Hello, everyone. I'm joined now by our panel of experts to break down some of these races. We have Jessica Levinson, Loyola Law School professor, Sara Sadhwani, assistant professor of politics at Pomona College and a member of California's Citizens Redistricting Commission, and Zev Yaroslavsky, longtime LA County supervisor, city council member, and current director of the Los Angeles Initiative at the UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs. Thank you all for being with us on this busy election night. We're first going to be focusing on the battle for LA mayor. It's between, of course, Congresswoman Karen Bass and billionaire developer Rick Caruso. We'd like to start with the ladies first. How do you think that the campaigns will run so far?
Yeah, I mean, this has been such an exciting campaign season, going through the primary, where, of course, we had a number of really great candidates that had a decent showing, but Caruso and Bass were obviously those front runners. We have seen Rick Caruso spend his personal war chest, over $100 million on this campaign. So it's definitely an exciting moment here in Los Angeles.
Jessica?
This is a fascinating race because the number of people I've spoken to who you would think would be committed and still were not yesterday, the day before, I think shows that there were failings in both campaigns. Karen Bass is a known quantity in Los Angeles. She represents Los Angeles. She was a member of the state legislature. People should have been decided, and I think it does show that there were problems with her campaign. She should have been able to put away somebody with no public service experience, who self-funded and who outspent her so heavily. It will be fascinating to see if people's mixed views shows that it's a squeaker, or are we all kind of wrong and it's 20 points later and we say, well, yeah, Karen Bass is the one with experience. So that's what
and
happens.
I've heard that from some of my friends as well. They weren't sure, even going into the election booth, who they were going to pick. Zev, your opinion?
Well, let's remember that she was ahead at the end of the primary by 7 or 8 points. So she did something right.
That's right.
I think they both had problems with their campaigns, and they both had some successes in their campaigns. That's what elections usually produce. I think the people of the city have a real clear choice of two different kinds of people with different life experiences. You know, one who's been very effective and successful in business, and the other who's been very successful in the public sector and as a community organizer when she got started in her adult life. So, you know, to recall Barry Goldwater's old line, this election is not, you know, people aren't faced with an echo, but a choice, and here we are, and we'll see what comes up in the next hour or two.
And your thoughts, what are the keys to victory when it comes to this campaign, mayor's race?
I think for both of them, it's getting their base out. Rick Caruso has been working very hard and spent a lot of money trying to generate Latino turnout, Asian Pacific Islander turnout, and I suspect Republican turnout as well. And Karen's got a base, and she's got to get that base out. So, interestingly, you're not the weatherman, but the weatherman may actually, if this is a close race, the weather may have played a role when this is all said and done. We'll see. But the turnout, who turns out, and how people who were undecided going into the election, as Jessica said, how they finally, where they came down in the race will determine the result.
And we had two candidates. They both had very specific messages. How do you think the messaging was on both sides?
So I think that they tried to draw very specific distinctions, particularly when Caruso said, I'm the law and order candidate. I'm the one who's going to keep you safe. Karen Bass really pivoted after the Dobbs decision, which overturned Roe v. Wade. And I think that was where she was able to regain a lot of momentum and say, I am a Democrat. I am for reproductive choice. The next sentence, of course, needs to be, but what control does the mayor have over that? And so that's where I think she was really playing to, I'm a Democrat, you know who I am, you know my views, you know my experience. Of course, the thing we don't talk about is we live in a city where we have a relatively weak mayor. And so the question is signing the budget, appointments, and bully pulpit.
When it comes to the messaging, your thoughts on that, Sarah?
Yeah, you know, I think Caruso has actually done a very good job distancing himself from politicians. And what we've seen over the last several weeks in particular, and several years, is corruption from City Hall, scandal after scandal, not only the recent racist tapes, but prior to that, the pay-to-play schemes that we've seen advanced from Mark Ridley Thomas, from others before him. So Caruso was very much distancing himself, presenting himself as an outsider in this debate, and really trying to paint Bass as a part of the problem. from.
Right.
So we've seen that real divergence in terms of the messaging on these campaigns.
Career politician versus outsider, right, Zev?
Yeah, I think so, and I think you know, member of Congress, part of the political establishment. I think they both have done a. You know, maybe I'm a contrarian here. I think they've both done a decent job in messaging who they are. I think Karen Bass is a very engaging person on media. She's articulate. She speaks her mind. She is clear spoken about where she's coming from. And frankly, I was surprised at how well Caruso was able to get his message across personally, not the ads. This is, you know, an election is a job interview. This is not, it's not a, you know, a PSAT, an SAT test or anything like that. People have an idea of who they are, who the people are. When you run for office, you're seeking my vote. You're in a job interview with me. I want to know, you know, do I like you? Do I trust you? Are you authentic? Are you trying to pull one over? And that's what this election is all about. And I think they've both done a decent job conveying who they are, with some degree of authenticity on both their parts.
No doubt. All right, Jessica, Sara, Zev, thank you so very much. Thank you for your insight. We're going to talk to you in about 30 minutes or so stick around for that, and we'll be right back.